what an absolutely amazing experience. So hopefully you did catch a little bit of that video. Let me let those people in. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, let's scoot on over to telling you a little bit more about the camp type of positions that are available. So there are a lot of different things to do at camp, but we categorize our camp placements into two types of things. We first of all have our general camp counselor roles, where those are for applicants who kind of want to experience a little bit of everything at summer camp. So you could be doing multiple activities, you're involved with a lot of different children through the camp, and you really are doing a lot. An activity specialist is somebody who's more focused on one or two activities through the camp summer. So primarily you'll be hired in a particular role, and that role could be to do tennis or horse riding, or it could be to do gymnastics or something fun and something that you're really good at and have done a particular sport or task or hobby for many years of your life. And you can now bring those skills to camp. So you can teach the campers how to do archery, what archery is, how to look after the equipment. If you're doing horse riding, how to feed horses, how to groom horses, how to ride them safely, use all the equipment that they have at camp to make it fun to be doing the horse riding. So you could be what we call an activity specialist. So when you put your application together, you will have to list your skills on the program application form. And here is where you want to really go into a lot of detail, sharing with us the experience that you have with that particular skill. So that when a summer camp director reaches out and starts looking for applicants, he will see the detail of your experience. They will look and they will know that based on what you've said on your application, you would be a good fit at their camp to run that activity or fit in as a counselor. So skills and essay parts of your application are really, really important to sell yourself with those skills. Some partners allow you to put 3 skills. Other partners allow you to put quite a lot of skills on your application. So like I say, the more it is, beef it up, the better your application. Summer camp is always only 9 to 11 weeks. It is, as it is, the summer period. So it's, as I say, it starts in May, June, and runs through to around July-ish, beginning August for those camps that are a bit longer. And the end of summer camp, you get what we call a 30-day grace period. So you will work and you'll work really hard and you'll make loads and loads of friends in that camp time. And then at the end of your program, you'll have the opportunity to go and travel in America for those 30 days after. So you'll take the pocket money that you've earned at camp and then you can go travel. You can travel, whether it be for a few days, the whole month. If you have friends or family in the US, you can go and stay with them. So that's quite nice, making it a bit of a longer experience. So all in all, I would say probably about 3 to 4 months in the US for the summer. The inclusions of camp are very important. So you will have all housing and meals provided to you on camp when you arrive and through the season. And your housing is quite authentic. So if you are thinking camp and you're thinking tents and log cabins and teepees and all that kind of fun stuff, that is exactly what you will be living in. So you will often, if you are, for example, a general counselor, share with the other camp counselors in a bunk, with the other guys that work there, as well as the kids. You will be responsible for all the duties in that camp cabin through the summer, getting the kids up in the morning, helping them with meal time, taking them to and from their little excursions. So you become like a little troop and you all live together, eat together, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So lots of food and nice place to live for that camp season. At the end of camp, you will be paid a once-off completion stipend, which may vary per age or partner that we work with. The earnings at the end of camp is most certainly not a program that you're going to make a profit of. So it is just pocket money that you earn for then being able to travel or pop in your pockets and come back to SA. You can, as I mentioned, go back to summer or, you know, all the summers. As one of the little girls in the video mentioned, she loves coming to summer camp multiple times. She's done it. We have applicants who are on their 5th or 6th season of American camp life. So it can really grab you. Locations are fantastic. Very much a case of some kind of water around camp, whether it be a swimming pool or a lake or anything water-wise, so that there's either like a big beachfront or a place where the kids can cool off. Obviously, being summer, and in many of these locations, it's very hot. So being able to swim as yourself as a counselor or as the campers is really fun. And obviously just prioritizing the safety. So absolutely beautiful locations, long summer days, really unique at this experience and included in your program. International friends, international CV branding, really being able to put in working away, working with multiple people, you know, of different cultures, a multinational on your CV, getting international work experience. Yes, it's not professional, but having that ability to have that independence of living overseas on your own without mom and dad. If you're a bit older, just, you know, expanding and networking and really having a great time meeting people, and also learning time management and people skills, and you know, being a role model at camp is certainly, even if it's 3-4 months, going to teach you a lot about yourself in that little time. We mentioned the time away after camp, so let's scoot on over to the camp types. So at the summer camp program, you will have to choose on your application. Everybody standardly does get exposed and what do you call it, displayed and put on stand with camps that are traditional and also day camps. So those are your standard normal camps that could be private, non-private, and also sort of like non-profits. And those camps would either run on a daily basis, morning to early evening. And then after camp in the evenings, the children go and then they arrive again for the next day. And then the weekends you are free. So day camps are a little easier. You do still sleep at camp, stay at camp, live at camp, etc. But the children don't live there. Only the people that work at camp live at camp. And then you've got your traditional, which are, as I mentioned, possibly private camps, ones that you know, have run for many years. Very strong traditions, very good skills and sports equipment and different games and things that are available at camp to learn and to do. The ones which you have a preference to choose from are your special needs, single gender, religious camps, underprivileged, sort of disadvantaged backgrounds. And then obviously on your application, for example, if you say you can do special needs, you would be willing to rather, you should really have that background, because special needs, single gender, all that sort of thing, or even religious camps, it might not be for everybody. So there are a couple of more in-depth questions which say why you would want to work at a camp such as that. So that obviously is something that you can think about and either be a part of or just stick with the traditional types of camps. The day in the life of camp is very, very busy. It's an early rise, sun's up, kids are up, you're up, you know, you're doing your duties, you're tidying your cabins, you're getting dressed, you're off to breakfast. The kids want to come, they want to play, they want to ride bikes, they want to hike, they want to climb up a rock wall, you know, go and ride the horses, play a game of tennis, swim, do lots of fun activities. So the day is really action-packed. At the camp, the kids can, depending on the camp, either have a very structured sort of day where prior camp they choose the kinds of activities they want to be a part of. And then other camps are very relaxed and it's a case of, hey guys, we're going to go and play basketball. Who wants to play? Or let's go swimming. It's really hot. let's go for a swim kind of a thing. So you do definitely have varied types of schedules at camp. And when you have your interviews with camp and when you do your research on the camp that has requested an interview with you, you should go onto the website. You should ask them questions about these kinds of things to make sure that, excuse me, that you feel, oh, sorry. Sorry about that, that you're going to fit in with the camp life and camp experience. As I mentioned, meals through the day, long days, you're sort of going to stay up until the night, around the campfire, sing songs, have those late night games, eat hot dogs, have barbecues, sit at the lake, stare at the sunsets. It really is beautiful and a busy day. You typically get off, I would say, probably about 6 or 7 days through the camp period. So you'd work a couple of days, get some time off, work another cycle, get some time off. And generally speaking, campers are pretty young. They start off with your sort of just starting school age, and they go all the way up to your teens. So you have quite a variety of children that are at the camps. Thank you, Therese. So the inclusion's an important partner support. Just to let you know that once we have placed you at camp and you head out to the States, you will have the support 24/7 at camp from our partner team. So you'll have a sort of a toll-free number that you can phone at any time. If you have any sort of emergency, you will have your camp director, the camp staff, and all the other counselors there. So you've got quite a good network at camp. You are not going to be the only one working at camp. Some camps have hundreds of international and local teams working on the support with hundreds of kids that come to camp. Other camps are a little smaller. You may have like 100 people in total between campers and people that work at the camp. So the size of the camp will vary as well. But you've got that nice network right at the camp. You've got the 24-hour support line. And most importantly, should anything medically happen to you, for example, you fall, if you break a bone at camp, which could happen, your travel insurance will be there to do from the medical side, hospitalization and all that sort of thing. At every camp, it's sort of like a school where you have the nurse and the doctor's little like room by the office where if you have any minor injuries or flu or illness, you can go and see the nurse and get taken care of, whether you got a headache or whatever. So there is that backup as well. You will go on a J1 visa. So your J1 visa is valid for the period of your work, which is the 9 to 11 weeks of work. And then you get that grace period of 30 days. So that's what your visa will be. And that's the period you can live and work in the US. After that, you need to leave the US. You won't be able to extend because camp closes, it's done. You can't go and, you know, everybody leaves camp. So at that point, you need to leave and come home. If you would like to go back to camp or if you'd like to do another OVC program, you can have a look at that as well. So the most important thing to note is that all the camps are screened. Very important that you know that you're going to a safe place with other people. Everybody's there, everybody's around. People have been going to these camps and working at them for years. So yeah, just the background and the safety issue is very, very important to us. So applications are coming to an end now, so it's very important that you do start your application as soon as possible. The application process is already been going on since last year, August. So really now, February, you're getting to the tail end of placements. You know, and if you want to go in May, we're running out of time for visas and flights, and things are sort of starting to come to a big head here, and cost of flights will be expensive. So you want to make sure that you get your application in as quickly as possible. We will be still pushing through with placements through until March, because unfortunately, sometimes people get their visas denied or they have to cancel because they can't go anymore. So spots do open. So if you still need to think about it, you do have a little bit of time, but I wouldn't rush, I wouldn't not rush and waste any time till like end of February, because it really is going to be a bit late. With the application process, you're going to fill out an application portal online. You're going to do an interview with the OVC. You're going to be accepted and placed on the program. So you're going to have interviews with the camp directors. The interviews happen like this online, so Zoom, WhatsApp, Teams, all those kind of platforms. So it's a bit nerve-wracking, but most times people are hired on their first attempt. It's really just about showing your personality, being confident, smiling, asking lots of questions, being engaging. It's not difficult to get hired by a camp. So as I say, try and get that application in as soon as possible so that when you are placed, we can quickly do your visa and thereafter book your flights and thereafter travel. The flight booking, you normally fly, well, not normally, but always fly directly to your camp, where you will then start your program and you will work the 9 to 11 weeks. And let's say you end up in Sandusky, Ohio, in the Great Lake region, and you've worked your camp period. So we book your flights into Sandusky, Ohio, but you want to do some backpacking and you want to go to California or New York or Florida or something after your program, then you can travel on your own, however, train, bus, fly, and make your way within a week or 2 weeks to, let's say, New York City, and we can book your flight home from New York back to your home country. So you can do a flight directly to your camp and home from your camp if you don't want to travel, or home from the camp area if you want to travel and then come back to where you started and then come home. But generally speaking, if you're kind of in the US and you're doing your in the US travels, a lot of people do make their way back to the East Coast and come home from there, or possibly wherever their family and friends are based. And then other people make a little bit of a home where their camp is, so they make lots of local friends, and so they kind of want to just hang around with those people, so they'll book their flights directly out of that city as well when they come home. Lots to think about, lots of variables, but just to sort of give you an idea of what the options are, and when it comes to booking flights, then you know. So most of all the qualifying criteria for this summer season, we've kept the age strictly up to 30, just purely because the visa denials are fairly high, or were fairly high last year and over the past years post-COVID. So we don't really want you to go through this process and then get your visa denied. So when you're on the 18 to 25 scale, fantastic. When you're on the 25 to 29 kind of an age group, you do need to look at your skills, your background, your stability in your home country, and being able to show strong ties to be able to come back to jobs, studies, assets, whatever, investments and things like that in your home country, family with stability, etc. Because the embassy are cracking down on program absconders, people they feel would not return to their home country. So for that reason, we are looking purely on mostly an 18 to a 29-year-old who has a passport valid for the period of travel, who has a strong background in childcare, coaching, maybe just, church work, leadership, teaching, anything that's really related to sort of camp and child caring and things like that. So that if you are a 27-year-old male and you've been a soccer coach for the last 8 years, to go work at camp is the perfect combination. Okay. Activity skills we're going to hop onto now, so I'll leave that one for now. And really getting hired at camp is all about your personality. Okay. So on the board, you can see a couple of options of most popular skills. The skills list on your application, it is an arm's length, the leg's length long on a computer of things that you can choose to do at camp and things that you could list as your top 3 skills. So when choosing a skill, don't choose something, if it is your skill, choose it, but try to think of something different, something that a camp director might find quite unique, because choosing something like soccer is an extremely popular thing, and soccer is not all that big in America. So you might want to go more with some other kind of ball skills game, or if you sort of have done something and you're not quite confident at it, but you're super eager to try it, or you feel that you could learn and do a good job at it at camp, put that skill on. Try to make your application more unique. You can go into religious, creative, sporty, more academic, so your rocketry, your science, nature, skills on nature and things like that, orienteering, hiking, outdoorsy kinds of things. Your waterfront has a lot to offer, from kayaking to swimming to lifeguarding. A lot of camps have, well, not a lot, but a fair amount of camps have boats. So if you have like boat licenses or skipper's licenses, what else? Any kind of professional license in a particular sort of sports or something like that, or if you have been trained or coached, that really goes a long way on your application as well. So these are kind of the things which are to choose from. So you don't have to think about, oh, what can I put? You simply click on the drop down and you pick a skill. Ooh, sorry. Cool. Getting hired, as I mentioned, is really about your energy, your enthusiasm, your personality, your ability to work as a team, your ability to wake up early in the morning and go to bed late at night, and to get up with a smile on your face the next day and say, sure, I can't wait to do this all over again. So it's really having a lot of energy at camp. And that's really what it's about, guys. We're not looking for specific marks on your education background. We are just looking for somebody who loves children, loves the outdoors, and wants to work at camp and have a super lot of fun. Okay. The costs of the program are really difficult to break down because there are multiple partners that we work with, and they are based on the time of application, different kinds of things to pay and price changes. So just to sum it up, everybody will have to pay an application fee and some form of a program fee, depending on partner. You will need to pay for the cost of your airline ticket to the United States. However, sometimes with your air ticket, one partner does give reduction of air tickets in sort of in lieu of earning a lesser stipend. You all have to pay for a visa, and you all need to take spending money when you travel to the US with you. So those budgets and things that you need to budget for: your application and placement, your visa, your what do you call it, couriers, your medicals, and your spending money all range between 15 to 20,000. Plus the cost of your air ticket. You can either have a subsidized flight and earn less at camp, or you can pay your full price flight and earn more at camp. So all in all, I would really recommend, as a rough idea of a budget, but you can see exactly what you need to have by contacting your OVC office, and we'll give you the documents and the brochures that have the breakdown. I would suggest that you budget about 30 to 35,000 as a minimum amount for the program. I don't see it being more than 35 to 40,000 Rand, but it's really dependent on how late you apply, where in America you fly, because the biggest variable with the camp program are the airline ticket prices. So airline ticket prices at the moment can vary from 12 or 13,000 up to 20,000 to get to America. So that's a big part of the cost. And then your application and visas and spending money, there are much smaller costs at about 15,000. So it's really that flight, which is the big one. But whatever you earn at the end of camp, you often make all that money back. You make part of the money if you plan on traveling. And especially if you do like the flight subsidy option, that helps as well. So have a chat with your OVC, sit down with the sort of the different tables and options that we have, and weigh up what you feel would be the best option for you. But apply today because summer is ending for recruitment very soon. So if you want to apply, you have to start now. Okay. I'm going to open the floor to any questions from anybody. If you want to raise your hand, I don't think you can unmute. So just pop up your hand and I can unmute you. You're welcome to type any questions in the chat box. And otherwise, if you have all you need, you are welcome to leave for the evening. So thank you for those who need to go for listening in to me tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm going to quickly just do a little screenshot before we go of who's online for tonight. And remember that if you haven't spoken to an OVC office, please just pop us a message on our website. You can go do an inquiry. You can jump onto our Facebook page and send a message via Facebook Messenger, or you can definitely just contact the OVC office and look where your nearest office is. All righty, Gareth, let's have you on tonight. Welcome. Thank you so much. What is your question?
Hi, I just had a short question. The flights, it's 15 to 20 roundabout, but does that include the return flight, or is that just flight there and then we have to use our money that we've made to get back?
No, that'll be your return flight. So your application is always $4,700. Your visa is always $185. Partner dependent will depend on the program fee cost. And then flights can be either subsidized, or you should budget about anywhere from about 13 to 20,000 for a flight. Yeah, return flight.
Thank you so
and
much.
then spending money. Spending money for camp. The reason why you need to take spending money is because when you go to camp, as I mentioned, everything is there. Meals, accommodation, everything. But because you get those 1 or 2 days off here and there, you might want to do some backpacking and take a day off and just go away from camp for the day and, you know, freshen up mentally. So if you go off for the day, you need money to go off for the day, eat something off camp, etc. So through camp, with those sort of 5 to 7 days off that you get, that's the time when you would spend your money. And then at the end of camp, you get paid. So then you'd use that pocket money. So spending money is just for odds and sods through the camp period, but is mandatory. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks for that question, Gareth. In terms of timing, yes, the preferred window of camp start dates is to be maximum available, like maximum is 1 May to 30 June. However, if you only want to be available from 1 June to 30 June, absolutely, you can be available and start and have your earliest start date as 1 June through to the end of June. What it means is that you will just only be available to camps with a June start date. So any camps that are still hiring now for a May start date would not select you, and only camps that start, because you have to be there for the start, will be available for you to choose from. Okay. Eden, I see your hand up. Go for it. I think you can unmute.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to ask, how many applicants do you guys take each summer?
Lots. Yeah, lots of applicants. You don't have to worry about placements getting you know, lost or whatever. But normally we send about 100 to 200 campers in a year. So yeah, lots and lots of placements. And camps, there are thousands of camps, and there's loads and loads of positions. So yeah, very busy.
Thank you.
Oh, Cinderella, how can we help you today?
Hi, I've got a question. It's relating to the situation of let's say it happens that I do parts of the sports, the skills. Do I still qualify? Let's say I'm not really an expert. Let me make an example, such as horse riding. So do I still qualify? Like I do horse riding in weekends part-timely. So do I still qualify?
You can choose it as a skill. If you feel strongly about the fact that it's a good skill to have on your application, then absolutely put it down. Remember that you can choose the 3 skills. So if horse riding is one of them, and if it's maybe like your 3rd skill, then put it as your 3rd skill, and then put 1 or 2 as your other ones. And then when you write your description of that skill, just say, I ride on the weekends, maybe like 2 weekends in a month. I generally ride for like 5 hours on the weekends. I've been horse riding for 3 years now, or a year, or 7 months, or whatever. You know, I've learned XYZ. I can groom, I can do this, I can do that. So just explain what your abilities are, and then the camp director will see whether they're good enough or not. But remember that if you go to a camp that just has horses and you know about horses, you could still be hired as a general camp counselor, and they might have like a professional groomer that actually looks after the horses full time and does it from the America side. And you kind of there just to help with the kids doing horse riding and, you know, walking around the pad or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Then we had a question in the box again about getting visas declined. Yes, as I mentioned before, visas can get declined. It's not a guarantee. So typically your 18 to 25-year-old applicants is generally a safer bet because they're younger, and chances are they're kind of just exploring gap year options and sort of putting feelers out there to see what's available. And then your 25 to 30-year-old who might be sort of in corporate or in a full-time job that's, you know, now wanting to take a break. It could make sense. You just need a break from corporate because you've never traveled before, or you want to just go and have this amazing summer. So you just have to be careful when you go to the embassy. But we do a lot of visa preparation with you so that when you do go for your visa, you are prepared. We help you with booking the visa, filling out the form online, what kind of questions you could be asked, and just preparing you for that interview. Because remember that with the embassy, you go for a face-to-face interview. It's literally 30 seconds to a minute. It's done, it's dusted, you're out, in, out, very quick. So yeah, not too much to stress about. All right, Cinderella, do you have another question? I see you still unmuted. Do you want to ask another question, or are you all good?
No, I'm all good. Thank you.
Perfect, no problem. All right, lovely. Another question. Swimming on your application and you want to try it, can you still add it on your, what? Oh, I've never added swimming. It depends on what phase your application is in. Like if it's been submitted, then you know, you might not be able to add the skill. With our one partner, you can only add 3 skills, so you might want to take off one and swap it out for swimming. And then with the other partner, you can put multiple skills. So I'm pretty sure if you logged in with that partner, you could go add one. But just chat with whoever's helping you with your application and then see if they say it's possible to add it in or not, depending on where you are with the application. Yeah. All right. Yes, Eden, go for it.
I also wanted to ask, is there an average amount of kids that go to each camp? Do you know an average amount or?
Yeah. It'll vary from, I would say, probably 50 to 100 to a camp where I've been and there's 400 kids. So it does vary a lot. If you watch a lot of camp videos, you can get an idea of the size, but your traditional and private camps tend to definitely have, I would say, 300 to 500 campers. And then your smaller, more like underprivileged or maybe even special needs are a little bit smaller, where obviously the care is a little bit different and the environment is a little bit different. So they don't have facilities, for example, like an underprivileged maybe run at a school where the kids come and it's just for the day and there's like 50 to 100 kids. and then like different games and things are played at the school on the sports fields and tennis courts and in the pools and stuff. And then everybody goes home. And then your traditional ones are acres big and hundreds of kids. So yeah, it'll vary quite a lot. I saw a question in the chat box about going with a friend. It's not impossible. We have placed friends together. We can put in a request, apply at the same time. So sign up at the same time, apply at the same time, do your interviews, submit your applications. Let's get them to America at the same time so that they can go live to potential camps, and that we can put a request in immediately that these two applicants want to be placed together. And then what you normally find is that the bigger camps will be the ones where you go together, because the smaller camps, if they only have like 10 or 20 international staff, they're not going to take 2 South Africans that are friends. They'll rather take like multiple nationalities. Whereas if you have a bigger camp where they're hiring like 100 staff, then in those kinds of camps, you'll find that they can take 10 South Africans and British and 10 Australians and 5 Europeans and whatever. So there you could go with your buddy. But just as I say, apply together all the time. And then Eden, I'll come to you now if you've got a question. What if you don't have much experience in sports, but you're willing to learn? 100%, you will still get selected. Everybody gets placed at camp. It's not about how sporty you are. Remember that at camp, there are other things like arts and crafts. So painting, arts and crafts like tie-dyeing, pottery, what else? Beadwork, jewelry making. Some camps have like I remember going to one where there's like this big house on the premises and it's just full of activities and the girls absolutely love it. You also have like camps where Christianity and also Jewish camps is big. So you do Bible studies and it's a big part of it. You have camps where they do science and education and nature. Some camps also have animals, so farm animals. So if you're into farm animals, you could be looking after the chickens and the goats and, you know, the petting zoo, so to speak, that's at camp. But generally, remember that you're just there to encourage. You're there to dance, you're there to play, to sing. That's the other thing. At camp, there's drama. So they put on productions, they do plays, they do dress up, they do Disney songs, they do dances, they do choreography, they do dance competitions, they do sports competitions. So all of the time, there's something going on. And if you have your 5 little girls in your troop and your job is to go and take them to what do you call it, rock climbing, you would go to the rock climbing activity with them and you would help them to do the activity. So you're not necessarily needing to be sporty, but you need to be good with kids, that you would look after them, that you would be responsible with them. So even that sort of just being a responsible adult and a role model and somebody who can sing and dance and be silly is the best kind of applicant to have at camp. Yes, Eden, I can share the recording, no problem whatsoever. Absolutely. And then I think that was your question answered. So cool. Any other questions you guys can think of, or are we done for the evening? Oh, there we go. Where can I find camp videos? YouTube, Google, TikTok, our OVC page. We've got quite a few campers on our sort of like history. So yeah, anything. If you go and have a look at on YouTube or TikTok about summer camp, you'll find tons. Yeah, and it's also quite nice to have a look, because remember, for camp you have to make a video to promote yourself. A big part of the camp and like selling yourself is making this really cool video. So with the video, I would recommend like 1 to 2 minutes, focusing on a little funky intro and then going into your skills that you do. And let's say you do swim or you kayak or you play volleyball or netball or something. Video yourself doing that. Or if you already have videos of yourself playing your sports, incorporate that into your video. then talk about why you want to be at camp, why they should pick you. And then you can wrap up with a little cheesy end thing, and then that'll be your video. But videos are a really creative way of getting your energy and personality onto your application, which is normally just, as I say, black and white paper. It's boring, it's answers, it's reading and reading. But the videos are something that really makes your application stand out. Yeah. If your visa gets declined, yes, you can try again. It's not the end of the road. So you can go a second or third time if it really goes that bad. But yeah, if your visa is declined, you can go again. All right. Okay. Thank you, Savannah. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Guys, I think that's it. If you have any more questions, please do reach out to your OVC office. I will share the recording. It's on the cloud. I'll just pop it onto a link and I'll get that to the offices tomorrow. And then that way you can re-listen and catch up with anything you've missed. In terms of, what was the question there? How do you know when you're accepted? If your application has been submitted to me, so everybody's application gets submitted to me, I review it, I look at your video, look at your photos, look at your application, see what it looks like. And if I'm happy with your application, I'll submit it to the partner. Once I've submitted it to the partner, it's essentially live and available to camps. So you can then start waiting for camps to get in contact with you. So if you've submitted an application, your OVC office will let you know if you are live and available to camp. Also, your portal will tell you, it'll say you've been accepted, you're now waiting for a camp, etc., etc. So you will see it as well online. Okay. And there you have it. So thank you so much for listening in. All the best with your applications. I look forward to seeing some of your applications or all of your applications. Have a lovely rest of your evening and hopefully an awesome summer to come. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.